Who's got the heart? Who's got the belief? Who's got the drive and the acceleration? One of the great 10,000 metre races. Gidey, desperate for the win. Is it going to be her turn? She looks over her shoulder. Abiri's closing. She drifts out. Letesenbet Gidey by the narrowest of margins. Turns silver from Doha into gold here in Eugene. Helen Obiri tried to come wide on the outside, and at last, the world record holder becomes the world champion.
So why does your running form even matter? Can't you just get out there and run? Why is it that a lot of people say that how you run doesn't really matter? Hi, I'm Wayne Calvert, and for the last 11 years, I've been running at both a competitive level and a social level, both in road and trail events. And over the last 11 years, I've also specialized in helping and correcting people's running form and technique, along with coaching in order to help and assist runners to run more efficiently and with less or to no ongoing injuries. So let's get into this video. Did you know that over 90% of pro runners and the world's best athletes spend all of their life perfecting their running form? And with modern technology and more efficient training techniques, there has never, ever been a bigger emphasis on how people run, also on how they can continue to run without any ongoing long-term injuries. So your running form does matter. For the everyday runner, having the correct running form means that you won't have to put up with all of the common injuries like sore knees, sore hips, and sore feet, sore back, and the list just keeps going on and on and on. Over the many years, I've always encountered people who are in that exact part of their running journey. And the number one thing I always get them to do is to go outside, take a slow-mo video of themselves running past the camera, and sure enough, when they look at that video footage and compare it to what I teach in my 10-week online training form and correction course, they're often miles apart. So if you want to check out my 10-week form training program, I'll leave a link in the description, because everyone who has gone through it now really loves how they run and have more overall confidence with their running. So let's dive in to Letesenbet Gidey's running form. In particular, I want to focus on her upper body. As last week's video, I focused on Eliud Kipchoge's running form with his foot strike. If you want to see that video, I've put a link in the description. So here is Letesenbet Gidey, world record holder for the female half marathon and a number of other world records. In this particular race that we are looking at right now, this was when she won the 10-kilometer track world championships against a number of other hard runners. So what we're looking at is her upper body. Now you'll see a massive difference between her upper body and other competitors. Now, the other competitors have been competing for nearly 10 years longer than Letesenbet Gidey. She right now is only 26 years old, absolutely crushing it. Now, you'll see with her shoulder rotation is moving through, her chest is pushed forward, and her hip drive is pushing forward. So as she moves forward, you'll notice that her whole body is moving forward. Her legs are keeping up, but you'll see here as her hands drive up. Now, you've got to remember, this is a sprint finish to the end of the 10K, so they're driving their hands right up. Earlier on in the race, hands were more relaxed, but you'll see the shoulder and the hip rotation. Now, there's hardly any vertical oscillation in Letesenbet Gidey's movement. Now, as we draw out, I want to show you this that's coming up. There is a massive difference between her overall form. Now, you'll see her two legs are parallel as she moves forward, and the two competitors that are coming up behind her, look at that form. Now, their form is kind of all over the place. Now, I'm not saying they're bad runners. What I am saying is that she is 10 years younger, has had a lot less experience than other runners, and she is absolutely dominating in her class because I believe at such a young age, her form is what is making a massive difference with her overall running. So why is your upper body form so important? As we all know, when we run, we are trying to move forward. So having the correct upper body form means that we can use this part of our body to lean into the run. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of like using gravity from your upper body to move forward, or to fall forward is the best way to describe it. Falling forward is all about leaning from your ankles and pushing your chest forward and holding your shoulders back for the correct balance. This in turn is going to allow you to have your body use gravity to move forward. Holding your shoulders back, pushing your chest forward will also straighten up your back in order to allow your hips to also push forward. If you look back at Letesenbet Gidey's upper body, basically from her hips to the top of her head, it's all leaning in front of her legs. Now you'll notice here that Letesenbet Gidey's arm swing is not crossing over the center of her chest. Her arms are at 90 degrees and she's just moving forward as you go. Now, as we come up to the end of this race, this was the 2023 New York City Marathon. She's actually racing the same lady that she beat at the 10K Track World Championships earlier on that last video that we analyzed. Now here you're gonna notice two big forms here. Hellen Obiri has been running marathons for nearly 10 years longer than Letesenbet Gidey. Letesenbet Gidey, this I think from memory is only her second marathon. So the experience on the finish is not as experienced as Hellen Obiri, but have a look at the form difference. Look at the arm swing of Obiri. It's kind of all over the place. Yes, she's a much more experienced runner, so she did win this race, but if you look at someone who has 10 years less experience than her, and she's right on the finish. I mean, look how much Obiri is looking back. Now her arm swing is kind of all over the place, whereas Letesenbet Gidey, just very, very smooth action as she come through. Now you'll see these two, their cadence is very similar. They're almost identical, moving at the same pace, but there is a huge difference in what's going on with that upper body. The upper body of Letesenbet Gidey, you'll notice, is hardly even moving. Not a lot of turning, but there is a lot of wasted energy on her competitor as she moves forward. So that's why upper body is essential. A lot of people, when they run, they just focus on the form of their foot strike and the lower body because they think when they're running, that's the only part of running. No, upper body has a lot to do with your efficiency. So as she moves forward, you'll see just a very, very smooth cadence. Now, I measured her cadence as well. She runs at about a 186 to 188. So what do you guys think about having the correct upper body running form? Is it something that you've thought of or even considered while you've been running? Well, if you're watching this video and you've come this far, then there is a high possibility that you're actually seeking how you can run better. Just remember, if something in this video has actually clicked with you and you now have a better understanding of what you need to change, the best thing you can do to make those changes is to get onto my website, sign up to my basic member monthly package so that you can really start to make some improvements to your running. Here, you'll have access to my 10-week form and technique course, along with many workout sessions, videos, and how-to videos for your running. I'll leave a link in the description. Also, keep an eye out for my technique video next week, where we'll be looking at Sir Mo Farah's running form and what we can learn from him. And don't forget to check out my correct running form video. for a full analysis of my actual running form too. This way, you can see that I actually do practice what I teach. Until next week, guys, keep on running.